the interactive whiteboard. You'll notice if you log on, you will be going to your home page, which immediately gives you access to what we call the instant whiteboard. For those of you who are joining us and are new to ClassFlow, it can be found right here, and it's a great feature. A lot of teachers have let us know that they love this. You can instantly join an instant whiteboard session, which gives you a new blank canvas for you to start without any preparation with your lesson. And in 5.3, we've actually made this canvas a lot bigger. And you can make this even bigger by going full screen on your browser if you don't want the toolbar to appear at the top. As such, so this gives you instant access to all your tools on the side with a blank canvas, so you can start making your notes, as I am doing now. And now we'll show you some of the new tools that we've added to your toolbox. So these are the old familiar ones that those of you who've used ClassFlow before will be familiar with. You've got your protractor, your ruler, your compass, just your standard tools. And in 5.3, we've also added the revealer and the spotlight to this toolbox, as we've had a few requests for people who would like to use those. So they're now in the instant whiteboard session for you to use. Of course, your students can still connect to your instant whiteboard session right away. If you want to share cards with them, I can easily add more cards to my lesson by clicking on the plus button. I can scroll through these without having to go back into my carousel. But I can easily expand that carousel if I want to actually add a student card here on the side. So this is one of the features. If you would like to join my session at any point, you can do so from the student code that's displayed at the top of my screen in the top right-hand corner. And to do that, you would actually go to ClassFlow, the prod.classflow.com/student from your device browser. It doesn't matter which browser. And on the Join Class tab, you would enter the code 222 Bravo November. So that is if you wanted to join my class at any point. I might be sending some cards your way just to demonstrate the student feature. So much for the interactive whiteboard. Luann, did we have any questions on that?
No questions just yet, but a couple comments just saying that they're really excited about the Revealer and Spotlight tool.
Yes, this is one of the favorite requests, and I know a lot of people have been using this. So the Spotlight, just as a quick, brief demonstration, as I said, you can access the Spotlight from your toolbar here by simply clicking on it, which lets you add a really cool feature to this card. You can resize your Spotlight, you can move it around, and it just instantly gives you something to excite your students with, because it's so easy to use. So that, and I can just close that Spotlight just as easily again. Now, one of the things we've also added to the tools that you've got on your instance whiteboard is we've actually differentiated the annotations, the eraser tool. So rather than just erasing everything, I can now actually choose what I want to erase. So I could either do everything, or I can just delete my text, or I can just clear my annotations, which in this case was everything because I only did annotations. But I could also add shapes and text and everything else, and I could just delete them. Now, from the top, I can see we've actually got a few connected students. So just as easily with an instant whiteboard session, without preparing anything, this has not changed, I could now start a poll and say, okay, are you liking the new features so far? And, that should come through on those who've connected to our session. I can see we have 4 students connected from my connection window. And I can see all of those have responded. So there you go. I would say that's a resounding yes from everybody there. So again, as a teacher, I can see that quite easily. I'm going to go out of the Instant Whiteboard now, unless there are any questions about any of that, which I'm sure Luann will fill me in if there is. If not, so it will warn me if I did not, like now, I forgot to stop my poll. So it will actually tell me, hey, you've got a poll going on. Are you sure you want to exit? So I say, yes, stop the poll. And then there's this, which some people have found confusing. But when you do an instant whiteboard session, remember, you didn't plan this. You didn't deliver it to a specific class. So you do have the option to either don't save it, which means the next time you do an instant whiteboard session, you will start with a clean slate. If you save it, then what you've just done here will be saved in that instant whiteboard session, and the next time you can just pick up where you left off this time, without making it into a formal lesson or saving it under a class. But if you're like, oh, I really like what we've done today, you know, we've added lots of different student activities, and, you know, we came up with some really great ideas, and the students added their comments and feedback, I want to keep this, then you can actually save this, and it will save it in your My Resources as a new lesson with a date. That's kind of makes it handy, but I could rename this to anything I wanted if I wanted to do so. And I could actually use this lesson again with this class or a different class if I wanted to. So let's have a look at our marketplace. If you've had a chance to look at the new marketplace, you will see that we've had a bit of a rummage around, and we've actually rearranged the filters. So the subject is now at the top, just to easily pick what you're looking for. This also, I need to reiterate, it depends on what your browser language is set to, how ClassFlow will localize your marketplace. So as you can see, mine is displaying years rather than the US variant, which would be grades. So if my browser was set to, even though I am currently on prod.classflow.com, which is normally mainly US based, my years are displayed with a UK terminology because my browser language is actually set to English GB. So we've added as much localization for the different language sites as we were able to do. But if there's any feedback, so if you are on the French side or the Italian side and you find that there's anything that doesn't really correspond with your with the way you're used to seeing things, by all means, please do drop us an email or just contact us via this amazing chat button that you have up here, which will put you through to me and my colleagues on my team, and we'll gladly pick that up. So let's have a look at what is most exciting, which is the new resources that the new resource types, I should say, that we've added. So if I expand my file format, which can be found here in the middle, you will see here that I can distinguish for the resource type. Now, for those who are coming through from Active Inspire and are using the marketplace now, this can be a bit of a, there's so much now that it's easier to distinguish if you're saying like, well at the moment, I just really want to find flip charts like I was used to doing that on Planet. Just tick the flip chart button. I don't have to put a search criteria in yet. I can just click flip chart and it will bring up all the flip charts that were on Planet, and now I can just filter them by year or by subject or even by language. But enough of that. Let's start. So we have our 3D models, which is one of my personal favorites, I have to say. It's an amazing feature, and I think it's something that easily sparks enthusiasm with your students. And it's so easy to use. You don't even have to add it to a lesson. You could simply select one that you like and deliver it right there from the marketplace. So If I click deliver now, it'll ask me if I want to do it ad hoc or if I want to pick a class. And again, I don't have to prepare anything. I can just add this, play it, and there you go. Look at that. You can send that to your students and they could instantly interact with that and have a play around with it. Now there's a great variety of different models on that one, and this is how easy it is to use. I could even share that with you now for those who are still connected, who have not been disconnected from my lesson. As you can see, I just went into my ad hoc class, and everybody who was connected before is still connected now. So there you go. You can all have a play around with that. And do let us know if you've got any feedback or comment. I just saw an awesome pop-up on my chat, which is always good to hear. There you go. That is one of the new resources that we've added to the marketplace. We also have the simulation, which again is something that you can easily incorporate in your lesson or ad hoc, but it's a great way of getting your students to interact with the cards through what we call a creative response poll or a creative response question, because you can do a lesson-based assessment and include these. They can interact with these simulations and they can annotate the card and play with it and send it back to you. Again, I'll do a quick demo just to show you how this one works. There we go. I have to say, not being a chemist or a science teacher, I'm not too sure what it all is meant to do, but as you can see, it's you can easily play around with these, and students love this. It's just so much more interactive, and it's so much more to see instantly what it does than rather than just having the theory on it. There we go. So much for our new resources on the marketplace and the fact that you can now deliver them straight from the marketplace without needing to add them to your resources. You can still do that, obviously, and you can still add them to your lessons as well from your resources or the marketplace. Okay, anybody got any questions on that?
So no questions, but lots of awesome, loving it. They're really excited about the 3D resources and the fact that we can send those to students. They're super excited about those things. Looking right here, I think we might have one question. So, nope, that was it. Just a lot of really good comments. They're super excited about the new resources in the marketplace.
That's what we love to hear. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just keep going. So feel free to interrupt me. Yeah. So the next one that I wanted to show you is our new and updated lesson builder. Again, if you're new to ClassFlow, if you're not new to ClassFlow, this will be a familiar process. But if you're new to ClassFlow, it's so easy to get started with a new lesson. There's a big new button right here that lets you do any number of things, and one of them is just to create a new lesson. There's a lot of things you can fill in, but just for sake of experience, I'm just going to fill in the title, and that's all you really need, and it takes me straight to my lesson builder. You will notice, if you've used ClassFlow before, that the layout has changed somewhat. They've really made an effort to make it as sleek and as simple as possible, so you've got your working area is maximized as much as possible and is not taking up any room at all. You can even make that bigger because there is a toggle button right here now that lets you expand that working area. And again, because it's a browser-based application, you can maximize your screen by computer-savvy people amongst you will know this from a Windows system. If you press F11, you can maximize your screen again without having that browser bar at the top. So let's see, what else have we got? So shapes, we had a lot of feedback on the shapes and how to add them. So we've actually added a bunch of new shapes to start off with, the favorite being this one. And if you've used ClassFlow before, you will have observed that I no longer have to draw something to get that shape on the canvas. It just puts it there right away. So now I can select my shape and I can do to it what I want. So I start off with any kind of shape. Again, it puts it on my canvas right away. And have a look at these alignment lines as well. So it lets me easily center or align these shapes as I'm adding them to my lesson as well. So that's something that we've overhauled. It's not a new feature. We had shapes before, but it's a lot easier to use now. Mainly thanks to the feedback you've been providing to us on that, so thank you for that. So now, let's just have a look at the other tools that we've added. One thing that we did add is the fill tool. A lot of people have said to us, it's just a little bit complicated. Can you not just add a fill tool that will let me not just change the color on my shapes, but my backgrounds as well? Well, there you go. The fill tool introducing, so I can use this one to easily change my background color. I can obviously pick a nice color, a different color, just to make it stand out, and use this on my shapes. And well, let's pick a different one. So let's say, so one of the other features that we have as well on the shapes is the pivot point edit. Now, a lot of people have probably never used this because it wasn't all that obvious what the pivot point did and how you could use it. So previously, it was a case of you could basically turn your shape, and normally it will always turn from the center of the shape. And with the new feature, you can actually edit the rotation pivot. So I can now put that anywhere. I can put it on a corner. There we go. And if I then stop editing that pivot point, it should now rotate from the corner. It's so simple, but at the same time, it's so powerful, and it gives you so many more options for your lesson editing. So that is as far as the shape. So not only can I change that, there's also different border types that you can easily adjust. So maybe if I put in a different color, I can change the opacity. As you can see, I can make it completely disappear if I wanted to. There's different border styles that I can easily access. I mean, this is pretty much what you'd expect from any basic graphic editing program. Just the things that you can do that we've now added to ClassFlow for your convenience. There you go. So is there any questions about that? Is there anything you'd like me to go over again or show you? We've got that differentiation in the eraser again, so you'll find that back here. So again, you know, if you're building your lesson, you can say, right, okay, I'm not happy with that. Just get rid of all the text or get rid of all my annotations, which I didn't have. But if I did an annotation and I actually picked a color that was different from my background, there you go. So I could now say, right, no.
We're good. No more questions just yet.
Okay, okay. Well, we're going through this quite quickly, but that's okay. I mean, we know how busy teachers are, so we definitely don't want to take up any more of your time. So there is a last feature that I wanted to show you, which is the Google Classroom that we've just added to our latest version of Classroom. So I will actually leave my lesson and go back to my home screen. go. And as you can see, this is now added to my resources for those who are new to ClassFlow, just who are not that familiar with the resources. So if I go to my classes page, you will realize that there's a new button there. And previously, that would give you the option to create a new class, either a student-generated or a teacher-generated roster for those who are a little bit more familiar with ClassFlow. But we've also got a import Google Classroom feature now, which we've activated. So just to give you an update, the 5.3 version of ClassFlow I'm showing you now is not yet available outside of classflow.com, but it will be updated on the international side this weekend on the 10th of March. So there will be some downtime, which we will announce later this week. So keep an eye on Twitter and the forums and your intercom messages that come through the ClassFlow app themselves. We will be updating you on the downtime. The release note and all the new features that we've implemented can be found on the ClassFlow forum already, as well as the ClassFlow messages, the intercom messages that you'll be getting, that will give you the link as well if you're looking for it. So you will have to wait for that release to be applied to your local site before you will be able to see this feature. But as it is a Google Classroom import, so this lets you basically import all your classes from Google, you do need a Google Classroom email account to connect to. That might seem obvious to a lot of people, but I just want to reiterate that it's not just a standard Google email that you can use this, or you need to have a Google Classroom account. And if you do, that will allow you to connect it here. You will click allow, and that will then import your existing Google classes. And that's all there is to it, basically. So please do let me know if you have any questions or feedback on that. And I will just show that one again. So literally, it's going to your classes page, clicking new, and clicking the import Google Classroom, clicking the connect. And you don't have to be logged in to ClassFlow with that Google account. You can be logged in with a different email, with a different account, and still connect to your Google Classroom email here through this feature. Okay. So the last page here, as I've already said in the presentation, help is always available, and being part of the ClassFlow support team myself, I can say with confidence that we are definitely happy to help. There are no silly questions. If you get stuck, if you're new, if you are a ClassFlow expert, it doesn't matter. There's always help nearby. There's that little interactive button right there that you can use to leave us a message, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So we also have our help use articles. So a lot of you may not know that the video and help section you find here is actually contextual. So it will give you, or at least try to give you, relevant features for the section of ClassFlow that you're in. So if you're in the builder, it will give you tips and hints and videos pertaining to that section, as well as the classes page. So that's that one right there. And that is all from me. So what's next? If you don't have an account yet, make sure to get a free account from your local country site. So you will always get the best performance if you can pick a site that is most local to you. Now, we appreciate not all countries have their own ClassFlow site, but most of them are covered. If you find that there is no country site for the country that you're in, feel free to use either the classflow.com or the classflow.co.uk, depending on which one is closer to you. Okay. So what's going to happen after the webinar? We will send out an email to everyone who registered for this webinar with the recording. as well as some follow-up webinars, the next ones that are coming up. And you will get a playlist of all the help videos that are relevant to the session as to what's new in ClassFlow. And that is all, folks, from me. So for those of us who are on the social side, there's a few links for you there as well. So please feel free to join them. And let's do a final round of questions and comments. Luann?
Still no questions. Just a lot of positive comments. So thank you all, everybody. We really appreciate that.
Yes, thanks a lot for. We do appreciate that teachers are some of the busiest people in the world, and you are expected to do all of this on top of your regular day job. So we hope it will be a really good return on investment of your time, as you might go through the site a little bit quicker when you get started. Okay, well, thanks everyone, and until next time. Sorry?
One more thing. I'm sorry, this is Luann. One more thing. There are some PDFs in the ClassFlow resources on what's new in ClassFlow, and also there are some PDFs and lessons in the marketplace that talk about what's new in ClassFlow, should anybody want that information in there also.
Excellent. Okay, then I think that's all from us, folks. And the webinar has been recorded, so if you joined us late or you had to leave early, then you will get that recording to share with others or to rewatch at your leisure. I wish you all a very good evening, and until next time. Bye-bye.